Good everyone, it's Irish Anime Fan here, and is it alright if I ask you guys a question? Okay, cool. What is the worst anime that you have ever seen? Some of you may be thinking along the lines of some popular anime series that may be critically and fan acclaimed, but you can't see what's so good about them. Or maybe it's something like Sword Art Online, I don't know. However, what I meant by the worst anime I have ever seen, what I mean is that the series in which I'm talking about is so broken on almost every fundamental level that the mere thought of it existing at all is just mind-boggling. Most fans that are well versed in the medium would say that the worst anime they've ever seen would be Mars of Destruction. You know, that one episode OVA made in 2005 that is notorious for being terrible, having a plot that is disjointed, insubstantial, and makes you reconsider Evangelion's influence on the medium, characters that have no personalities, appalling animation, and having one of the most infamous plot twists in all of anime history. Yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? But what if I were to tell you that there was something that was even worse? Something that was made by the same people who brought you Mars of Destruction, is a one-episode OVA based on a PS2 game, and was directed by what many consider to be the Ed Wood of anime, Yoshitaro Sato, but was released a year prior. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you what I consider one of the worst anime that I have ever seen. Helter Skelter. Skelter Heaven is what I meant to say. Oh god, I don't know what I was thinking there. Then again, if Mars of Destruction can compose a soundtrack that basically rips songs from Wagner, Chopin to fucking Beethoven, I don't know why we couldn't have a cameo from the Beatles for crying out loud. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into Skelter Heaven. So the episode starts off with a shot of the earth as the sound of a heartbeat and some weird noises accompany it. At this point, I'm just expecting the opening credits to Alien to pop up at any minute. In space, no one can hear you, weeb. We then cut to the city as the telecom announces that an unknown object is now heading towards the Earth. And that's about as much information on this alien as we're going to get. Those pesky aliens invading our Earth, how cute! After the opening credits, we cut to this news reporter who isn't important to the story, but I have to wonder. Was him repeating his lines over and over again intentional, or was this Idea Factory's sadistic way of getting the perfect take from this voice actor?
The unknown object seems to have started moving.
Sir, we have to do that take again. It's very important that we get this right.
But I don't see how a couple lines could be so important.
Trust me, sir, the entire OVA is riding upon these lines. Now can we do those takes again?
Fine. I guess I'll repeat this again. The unknown object seems to have started...
I'm sorry, sir. Can we do that one more time? Again, sir, these lines are very important, so please take this seriously.
I will repeat this again. The unknown...
Look! It's Phoenix Wright! Yeah, I know he has an actual name, but let's be honest here. His name is actually way less interesting than Phoenix. And besides, look at the resemblance! He then goes to the control panel to talk with Edgeworth? I wasn't lying about the Ace Attorney coincidences. What makes this even sadder, though, is that a parrot being cross-examined is probably the most intelligent thing we're going to be seeing in this entire video. We then cut to a country house where we see some girls training outside and... Wow, Sunrise really let themselves go with this new Gundam series. After that awkwardly edited scene, we then cut to... Whoa! What the fuck? What kind of sick person would come up with an exercise machine so impractical and oddly perverted? I wonder what the board meeting will have looked like. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today for the meeting, Mr. Engineer. It's no problem at all, Mr. Businessman. Now, the reason why I've brought you here today is because... Do you remember those blueprints that for those new exercise machines that you sent me last week? Well, I'm still a bit unsure what they do, so could you please elaborate on your thought process? Well, you see, my machine has an automatic process to prepare the pilots, which have to be women, by the way. It's a very specific design choice, for combat and to control over their mechs. So the stage for them is for them to sit on, and then we tie them up. And that will signal the machine to go up and down
And that will stimulate the pilots and give them the experience to pilot the mechs.
That's probably one of the most half-baked ideas I've ever heard.
Oh, really? Well, if you really hate the idea, well, I guess I'll...
And I love it!
What? Do you really?
Of course I do, my boy. In fact, I love it so much, I will give you $10 million to create each and every one of those bad boys.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I will promise you I will not disappoint you.
This is the only thing that'll satisfy me since my wife left me.
It's during this scene that we get our first glimpse of the alien, and Jesus, what is that thing? It looks like if MF Doom and Squidward had a baby and decided to dress up as Sandshrew. Anyway, it's during this meeting in which our characters detail their meticulous and carefully crafted strategy on how to eliminate
通過で探査団を至近距離から目標の体内に持ち込み制御コアを確定一点集中で上を叩く
Or you can just go straight towards the enemy and blindly fire missiles with it. Yeah, that works too. But Phoenix has set up a specific order that one of the girls, Lynn, should attack the alien first, which has clearly upset one of the girls, Misaki, who has confronted Phoenix about this. I should care about this conflict, but I don't. They have a little quarrel, and then she storms off to pilot her mech. So as the crew fly up into their battle against the alien, they work their brilliant plan of fuck all into action. As expected, it doesn't go down that well. Oh no! That poor character we barely got to know! So the battle continues on with what looks like to be a poor outcome for the humans.
俺は作られた存在だ。成長することにより人間を超えるほどの高度な知能。
So now we're going into Lynn's backstory, and it turns out that she's an artificial being created by the infantry. What does that have to do with the plot? We then explore more of the relationship between Lynn and Phoenix in this backstory as they are comparing their lifespans between humans and artificial beings. Again, what does this have to do with the plot? I understand this is trying to create some breathing room from all the high-octane action, but the tone of the episode shifting to a complete 180, not to mention being coupled with the horrendous editing of the scene, is very jarring. And it happens again as we fade back into the action after all that development. All these events don't feel natural and takes you out of the immersion completely. Then again, there would be immersion if I actually gave a damn about what's happening right now. In which case, I don't. Our heroes continue to fight the enemy as the enemy grows stronger, and since that plan from before worked so well last time, they decide to try it again. Phoenix decides to go for the kill, but Lynn interferes with his attack to confess to him.
あなたの命令に従ってきたのはそう作られたからじゃない。あなたのことが好きだったから。
Wow, that was fast. I mean, guys, their relationship has totally developed since that one scene they shared together. Move over, Toradora and Clan Adapter Story. There's a new hot OTP in town. So Misaki, being fed up with this bullshit, decides to go and kill the alien herself, and everyone follows suit. It seems like they have the upper hand against the alien, and it looks like victory is among the humans.
何？これ。
Well, she's off to Pandora, lads. See you around when I actually find someone who actually gives a shit about this reference. So it looks like that Lynn sacrificed herself to kill the aliens, and the day is saved from another alien invasion once again. We then get a shot of Edgeworth in the control panel talking to himself until... Wait, what?! I know I keep saying this a lot in my review, but please allow me to repeat this sentiment again. So, Phoenix was an artificial being all along? Then, why was he watching one of his people being created as if he were a human? Why were him and Lynn talking about their lifespans if they were two different creations? Was there any fucking hints that the creators gave out that could tell the audience that he was one of them? This plot twist makes no sense! But no, it's not over yet. A year has passed since then, and wait, that guy is still there?
I've been doing these lines for an entire year. Can I at least have a bit of a break?
Sir, you have to understand, these lines are a very integral part to the story.
How? If they are so integral to the story, how are you going to incorporate them?
We're working on that now, sir. Right now, we got...
Your name is Idea Factory. How can you have no idea of what you're doing?
He tells that since the infantry killed one of those aliens, a year later many more have come to invade the Earth. But will this battle continue on, you may ask? Nope, it just rolls the end credits and concludes this narrative just like that.
Well, that's about 20 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back.
Say what you want about Mars of Destruction. Yes, it has a terrible story and non-existent characters. Yes, it has lazy and cheap animation. And yes, it has a lot of bullshit packed into it. It's awful. But it's a fascinating type of awful. Much like The Room or any film by Ed Wood. I think the reason why it's stuck with so many anime fans is because the aspects that it gets wrong makes it unintentionally hilarious. You can laugh at its flaws, and it makes for some good, if not ironic entertainment, especially if you have friends experience it the same way you are. And I think maybe the creators had a sense of self-awareness when making it, that they knew they were making a bland Evangelion ripoff and decided to take the piss.
However, with Skeletor Heaven, it just doesn't have that same quality. It offers absolutely nothing entertaining, and it takes itself way too seriously, and it's detrimental because of it. It's not so bad it's good, it's just bad.
With a confusing, disjointed and almost insulting narrative, also made with bland characters, abysmal animation, hideous CGI textures, Skeletor Heaven is by far one of the worst anime that I've ever had the misfortune of seeing, and unless you want to suffer with me, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, not even ironically. Trust me, it's that awful.
Anyway guys, this is Irish Anime Fan, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, Slán.